Thank you, Mr. Chairman. Notice of public hearing. Please take notice that the Oswego County Legislature to hold a public hearing on the proposed County Oswego Local Law Number 3 of 2023, entitled Local Law Allowing Eligible Volunteer Firefighters and Volunteer Ambulance Workers to receive a real property tax exemption under Real Property Tax Law, Section 466A. The 10th day of August 2023 at 2 o'clock p.m. at the H. Douglas Barclay Courthouse, 1 Broad Street, Alaska, New York. 13142. Copies of the proposed local law are available at the Clerk of the Legislature's office, 46 East Bridge Street, Oswego, New York, and available online at oswegocounty.com. By order of the Oswego County Legislature, July 13, 2023. That's Chairman Saunders, Clerk. Any persons wishing to be heard on proposed local law number 3 of 2023 regarding real property tax exemption for volunteer firefighters and ambulance workers, please step forward and state your name.
So really I want to speak about all resolutions in general and the public access to them. Is that okay?
You're taking comments on this public hearing?
Yeah, she signed up on the wrong page.
I signed up on the wrong page?
Yeah, there's another sheet.
I'll go sign up differently.
Yeah, there's another sheet for resolution today. Is there anyone else?
There being no other persons wishing to be heard regarding proposed local law number 3 of 2023, Mr. Chairman, I request to declare the public hearing closed at 2:03 p.m.
Thank you. Moving now to regular meeting, 2 o'clock call order. Clerk, please call the roll.
Michael Yerden.
Present.
Herbert Yerden.
Present.
Edward Gilson.
Here.
David Holz.
Here.
Roy Rehel.
Here.
John Martino.
Here.
Frank Lombardo.
Here.
Paul House.
Here.
James Weatherup.
Mr. Chairman, are you
James
here?
Weatherup.
Here.
Mary Ellen Chesbro.
Present.
Linda Lockwood. Here. Richard Klein.
Present.
Patrick Twist.
Here.
Stephen Walpole's been marked excused. Nathan Emmons.
Here.
James Scanlon.
Here.
Lauren Magano. Here. Robert Wilmot.
Here.
Marie Schad.
Here.
Paul Conley.
Here.
Noel Samuelson. Here. James Karasic's been marked excused. Michael Soloway.
Here.
Mark Greco.
Here.
Frank Castilla.
Wouldn't miss it.
Mr. Chairman, that's 23 present, 2 excused, you have a quorum.
Thank you. Please lead us in the invocation.
We come together today representing our communities at the second seat of Oswego County. Help us to be ever mindful of opportunities to render our service to fellow citizens and to our community, keeping in mind always the enduring values of life, exerting our efforts in those areas and on those things upon which future generations can build with confidence. Grant us clarity of purpose and protect us all from distractions. Amen.
Thank you. Would Mr. Yerden come forward and lead us in the pledge? Select Jane.
Pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
Thank you. I want to make sure Kurt was with me. Trust and see the minutes of the Oswego County Legislature regular meeting of July 13, 2023. Looking for the motion. So moved. Second? Second. Any discussion? All in favor? Aye. Any opposed? Carried. Legislator House. County Courthouse in the village of Glasgow. This is what we do every year. We come up here, one of the original county seats we used to share with. I think perhaps Mr. Wilbur has anything to add to that?
Well, so in the beginning years of the county clerk and the sheriff and the legislative board of supervisors at the time would switch back and forth every other year from Pulaski to Oswego. And I can't imagine being a county clerk and doing all those books and deeds and mortgages from Pulaski to Oswego every year. So I'm happy that we have a stationary county office building at this point. But yes, that is what used to happen.
Any other discussion? All those in favor? Aye. Opposed?
Mr. Chairman, that's 23 in favor, 0 opposed, and 2 excused.
Thank you. Any proclamations or recognitions? Thank you. Any introduction of visitors, and then we have some legislator Wilson.
Yeah, thank you, Mr. Chairman and fellow legislators, department heads and staff. First, I'd like to welcome you to Pulaski, Town of Richland. We're always glad to host you here for our August meeting. We do have some distinguished guests today. From the Town of Richland, we have Supervisor Kern Gurdon, Councilman Alan Goodsell, Councilperson Donna Gilson, and representative of the village of Glasgow, right now, Mayor Jan Todd.
On behalf of the Pulaski Village Board of Trustees, its residents, citizens, businesses, and administrators, we'd like to thank you again for your name in this historic building, the H. Douglas Courthouse. But I'd also like to take this opportunity to thank you for the ARPA funds that have been distributed to the village of Pulaski. One project was for the stabilization of the arches, which is an old railroad trestle, which is on a river walk. If you came over this long bridge, the river walk goes under that long bridge and the arches are to the right. Right now, the river walk is closed because that project has begun. Heritage Community is stabilizing that, and we look forward to the completion of that project and again walk on the river trail, hopefully before fishing season. And it will be preserved for all our residents and visitors to come. The second source of ARPA funds was to help our wastewater treatment plant change from a chemical to a violet treatment under effluent. So this is going to be going out to bid soon, and hopefully we'll be starting construction within the next couple months. And so I will know more because there's a sewer board meeting later tonight. But I want to thank you very much for all of us who live here for helping preserve a piece of history on the Salmon River and also helping to preserve the quality of the water that runs through the Salmon River for us and everyone in the area. So thank you.
Thank you. Thank you. Now to public speakers on resolutions of the day. I know there was slight confusion in the beginning. This is about resolutions that are in the packet for today. Legislator House.
You got it up there.
Barb Kickbush. Again, is this for resolutions of the day or public comments in general?
Resolutions of the day.
All right, come forward, please. Welcome back.
Thank you. Okay, so I am speaking to all resolutions of the day, and I'm speaking to them related to public access. The minutes for today's meeting were not online, neither were the resolutions, so although I tried to prep with questions for this meeting on each resolution, I really couldn't find any. So I searched the website and I did find standing committee videos. Excuse me. But only after asking a friend who was a better badger than me to find a link where they were to send them to me. The link that was in the legislative site actually took me to updates from May or something of 2022. And when I looked at past minutes, or past resolutions that had been updated, I found that, or had been passed, I found that it was very hard to really tell what the pros and cons for each were, even in the little boxes that were left at the end of each page for the resolution that was explaining why and what they were all about. So I would hope, oh, and on the videos themselves that I was watching of the standing committees, there was not a section where anyone's name was introduced, so although I was really happy to hear the information, I never know who was giving it. And the other comment about that I want to make is that so I thought that just if people introduce themselves in the beginning of those meetings, it would be helpful for anyone watching the videos or reading the transcripts. The ones that I was particularly pleased with the discussion piece were the Human Services Committee and the Public Safety Committee. They had maybe not robust question and answering, but they had enough that when I see the titles on the minutes that were here today, I could at least tell what they were talking about. And then the other ones, clueless. So thank you, and that's it.
Thank you. Are there any other speakers on resolutions of the day? Legislator C.
Mr. Chairman, I would like to thank the young lady who spoke to us. Many people have come to me in the past and asked, where can I find this, where can I find that? I'm glad that somebody came today to speak, and hopefully we will get this resolved. I'm sure we will, because people need to know what's going on, and I want to thank you for speaking. Thank you.
Absolutely, and I would encourage anyone that has any questions on any resolutions, you don't necessarily have to ask your legislator that represents where you particularly live, but you could call any legislator and hopefully also get some answers. So, thank you. Moving now to Government Courts and Consumer Affairs Committee. First resolution, which will be by Legislator Bowles. With the approval of today's resolution, if passed, the county will continue its contract with Alex Bogovich, the former plant maintenance manager, who has and will keep the facility secure and keep the plant safe until the sale of the plant. Thank you. Legislator Bowles.
Mr. Chairman, I offer this resolution, urge its adoption.
Will the clerk please read the heading?
Resolution approving the execution of a consulting agreement with Alex Bogovich concerning the Addis ethanol Fulton property.
And this does have to be amended. And, as it reads right now, the resolution authorizing budget modification and execution of consulting agreement concerning the Addis ethanol Fulton property, and to insert the following resolve before the final resolve. Resolve that one member of the he is authorized to transfer the funds from and to the accounts as shown on the tax application and request for the service. And a certified copy of this resolution delivered to the county treasurer and shall use authority to effect such transfer and make such adjustments.
I make a motion, Mr. Chairman. Motion on multiple seconds. Any other discussion? All in favor? Aye. That's on the amendment. Oh, okay. So all in favor again? Aye. Opposed?
It's 23 in favor, 0 opposed, and 2 excused on the amendment.
Thank you. Back to the original then. Any discussion as amended? Legislator Shaw.
Is he an independent contractor or would we hire him?
We started off as independent, but the goal may be as it develops, you may have to be just an employee, depending on.
I'm just wondering how the workers' comp would be structured. I'm not just worried about our.
The president is an independent contractor. So he either has to provide proof of workers' comp or proof of an exemption from workers' comp. So it's in the agreement. It's the transitions to payroll that require a position between employees of the county or everybody workers' comp.
Hopefully, as we discussed, this is temporary. Any other questions? All in favor? Aye. Opposed?
Mr. Chairman, that's 23 opposed, and 2 excused.
Thank you. Resolution GC2 by legislator Holt.
Mr. Chairman, I offer this resolution, urge it to adopt.
Will the clerk please read the heading?
Resolution accepting New York State Shared Services matching funds and allocating to Development and Efficiency Fund.
Oswego County has received a total of $1,782,945.50 from the state in the shared service program. This resolution is commonly help us increase joint health benefits administration RFP, and also the joint purchase of the screener.
Any discussion? All those in favor?
Aye.
Opposed?
Mr. Chairman, that's 23 in favor, 0 opposed, and 2 excused.
All right, thank you. Resolution GC3, which addresses some of the problems that the clerk had back in the 1800s, apparently. County clerk is a hub for all the important documents. It's imperative that all documents are filed and stored properly. With this resolution, the county clerk's office will take the next steps in the preservation of all documents by electronically filing them in an archival records management system.
Chairman, I offer this resolution, urge its adoption.
Will the clerk please read the heading?
Resolution awarding professional services contract RFP 23-CC-001 electronic document and archival records management system.
Yes, this is for the Oswego County Awards and Management Systems and ICC Community Development Solutions. From Rochester, New York, for initial startup cost of $24,795.
Thank you. Any discussion? All those in favor?
Aye.
Opposed?
Mr. Chairman, that's 23 in favor, 0 opposed, and 2 excused.
Thank you. Resolution GC4 by legislator Holt.
Mr. Chairman, I offer this resolution, urge its adoption.
Will the clerk please read the heading?
A resolution adopting County of Oswego Local Law Number 3 of 2023 entitled A Local Law Allowing Eligible Volunteer Firefighters and Ambulance Workers to Receive a Real Property Tax Exemption under Real Property Tax Law, RPTL, Section 466-A.
Yes, this is been resolved that this is the local law number 3 of the year 2023. Acknowledging eligible volunteer firefighters and ambulance workers to receive a real property tax exemption under real property tax law 466.
Thank you. Any discussion? Legislator Fields?
Yeah, Mr. Chairman, I'd like to recognize legislator Mike Urian for his tenacity in helping us appreciate and change this original wording to a 2-year waiting period versus the 5. And he needs the recognition for helping us understand.
Thank you. Mr. Bob, here.
Mr. Chairman, I appreciate it's good replacement, if not just me alone. I would like to thank all the legislators here for on this project. I think it's something that's way overdue. I think this recognition, I think this also will help recruit new members because there's a lot of work involved in both of these organizations to serve volunteer perspective. So I'd like to thank the legislature personally. Supporting this year to put this in order and correct the
Thank you. Any other discussion?
Mr. Chairman, I'd also like to acknowledge the Fire Advisory Board's input on this issue, and also kudos to Mr. Reed, who had me come up to his local firehouse and discuss the issue correctly. A lot of input from all of the local fire departments on this, and kudos to them, and the EMS as well.
Thank you. Any other discussion? All those in favor?
Aye.
Opposed?
Mr. Chairman, that's 23 in favor, 0 opposed, and 2 excused.
Thank you. Mr. Law, LAP. Moving now to Public Safety Committee, Resolution PS1 by legislator Nephew.
Chairman, I offer this resolution and recommend its adoption.
Clerk, please read the heading.
Resolution approving the execution of an intermunicipal agreement with the City of Oswego and the Oswego County Fire Safety Training Center.
Yeah, this is just an agreement where we trade the city's water for the use of our training facilities, kind of a swap deal.
This has been going on for some time.
Going on for some time, which we documented.
Understood. Any other discussion? All those in favor?
Aye.
Opposed?
Mr. Chairman, that's 23 in favor, 0 opposed, and 2 excused.
Thank you. Resolution PS2 by legislator Greco.
Chairman, I offer this resolution and recommend its adoption.
Will the clerk please read the heading?
Resolution authorizing budgetary modification E911 overtime.
This is an amount of $100,000 to be transferred from wages over to overtime. He's still short people, and it's hoping that this will get him to the end of the year.
Thank you. Any discussion? All those in favor?
Aye.
Opposed?
Mr. Chairman, that's 23 in favor, 0 opposed, and 2 excused.
Thank you. Resolution PS3 by legislator Greco.
Chairman, I offer this resolution and recommend its adoption.
Will the clerk please read the heading?
Resolution establishing E911 capital project number 1223 EMS radio replacement.
Yeah, this is in the amount of $400,000 roughly to replace the existing radios that are outdated and need to be replaced. That's
Thank you. Any discussion? All those in favor?
Aye.
Opposed?
Mr. Chairman, that's 23 in favor, 0 opposed, and 2 excused.
Thank you. Resolution PS4 by legislator Greco.
Chairman, I offer this resolution and recommend its adoption.
Will the clerk please read the heading?
Resolution authorizing the creation of 1 part-time position in E911 department.
So, like I said earlier, these short people, somebody will come back part-time in the meantime until we can fill some full-time positions.
Any discussion? All those in favor?
Aye.
Opposed?
Mr. Chairman, that's 23 in favor, 0 opposed, and 2 excused.
Thank you. Resolution PS5 by legislator Greco.
I offer this resolution and recommend its adoption.
Will the clerk please read the heading?
Resolution authorizing budget modification, Emergency Management Office, Drone Technology, American Rescue Plan funds.
This is approximately $96,000 for the purchase of 2 tactical drones. I'm sorry, 2 all-weather drones and 3 smaller tactical drones. Against our drone program.
Thank you. Any discussion? Legislator Shaw.
How many people can operate the drones now? I know we did have a position for a drone operator. I just wondered.
We have a coordinator.
Currently, there's 20 pilots at present.
But it is under
And
coordinator.
it is growing.
Any other discussion? All those in favor?
Aye.
Opposed?
Mr. Chairman, that's 23 in favor, 0 opposed, and 2 excused.
Thank you. Resolution PS6 by legislator Greco.
Chairman, I offer this resolution and recommend its adoption.
Will the clerk please read the heading?
Authorizing an intermunicipal disaster assistance agreement by and between the County of Oswego and the County of Onondaga.
This is just renewing our contract for another 5 years at the rate of $45,000.
Any discussion? All those in favor?
Aye.
Opposed?
Mr. Chairman, it's 23 in favor, 0 opposed, and 2 excused.
Thank you. Moving now to Human Services Committee, legislator Reed Hill with resolution PS1.
Mr. Chairman, I offer the following resolution and urge its adoption.
Will the clerk please read the heading?
Resolution to transfer funds from Insurance Recovery Fund to Department of Social Services Automated Supplies and Repair Account.
The budget modification authorizes $2,850.16 to be transferred from insurance recovery into automotive supplies and repairs.
Thank you. Any discussion? All those in favor?
Aye.
Opposed?
Mr. Chairman, it's 23 in favor, 0 opposed, and 2 excused.
Thank you. Resolution HS2 by legislator Reed.
Mr. Chairman, I would like to make a motion to refer this resolution back to committee for further information.
Thank you. Do we have a second? Second. All in favor?
Aye.
Opposed?
Mr. Chairman, it's 23 in favor, 0 opposed, and 2 excused.
Thank you. Resolution HS3 by legislator Reed.
Mr. Chairman, I offer the following resolution and urge its adoption.
Clerk, please read the heading.
Resolution authorizing the creation of 1 principal caseworker A, 1 senior caseworker A, and 5 caseworker A positions in the Department of Social Services.
Mr. Chairman, the Volunteer Transportation Center had a contract to do this work to transport mostly children in foster care for their mandated weekly meetings. They desire to end that contract, and we would like to bring this service back in-house. So this would be the staff that would be able to do that at the Department of Social Services.
Legislator Reed, are you speaking on the creation of the positions or the?
Yes.
Well, administrators confused. Well, it's easy to do. All right, go ahead. All right.
Well, oh, okay. Well, perhaps the summary, was not perfect.
Okay. Well, maybe you're right. I apologize.
Yes, no. This is to be able to do this work in-house. This was previously done in-house. It was a good effort to try to contract this out, but the company that did it, there were some problems, having volunteer individuals showing up at schools to pick up children and take them to these services, and I think it would be better for the children to have people that they see more often and trained CSWs, caseworker aides.
Yes, thank you. Any discussion? Legislator Shaw.
Is this mandated and is it reimbursable?
I believe it's 62% reimbursable, and the bulk of the transportation is, all of it is mandated, 100% of it. Part of the reason for the additional staff too is that our family court judges have increased based on best practices, the amount of time that children are going to have in these family meetings. So there are children in foster care that are going, previously, especially during COVID, it was reduced down to 1 hour, 1 time a week. They're going to be able to meet with their families now 2 hours, 2 times a week. And they're going to be able to have, hopefully, a friendly face that they've seen before, be the person that's helping to do them with that transportation.
And I would add, I talked to the director of the National Transportation, and she mentioned this should realize us as safe as possible. Legislator Castillo.
I see the creation, and I understand why we want to create it. But do we have people to fill these positions, or are we going to be shorthanded on this also?
We already have 6.5 drivers that are capable of doing this, and we have several vehicles. It's potential that so we're hoping to have 11 drivers, and the principal is going to be doing the dispatch. It's estimated that there's going to be up to 1,500 trips per month that will have to be scheduled. So we're really going to have to make sure we've got somebody that's almost a full-time transportation scheduler. So do we have all the staff now? That's why we're creating the job, so that we can hire people.
I just wanted to engage, but I have a hard time getting out of this.
Okay. Any other discussion? All those in favor?
Aye.
Opposed?
Mr. Chairman, that's 23 in favor, 0 opposed, and 2 excused.
Thank you. Resolution HS4 by legislator Reed.
Mr. Chairman, I offer the following resolution and urge its adoption.
Clerk, please read the heading.
Resolution awarding professional services contract RFP 23-ESS-001 door-to-door transportation services.
This is awarding a professional services contract for door-to-door transportation services to Catholic Charities for 3 years at $3,256,738. This uses budgeted preventive services contract dollars.
Thank you. Any discussion? Mr. Shaw.
Is this mandated? And is it for medical transportation? I mean, it's unclear.
This is for the families more so than the children.
It's not,
Pardon me?
it's not for medical.
Not for medical, but for court-ordered services and parents. This is, again, this is the family time for supervised visits for the parents that need.
Thank you. Any other discussion? Legislator Castillo.
Sure, I have a couple of questions here, a lot of concerns. One, it's $3 million, so it's over $1 million a year. And we're allowing our pet, as you explained, that we did have a contract with somebody from Watertown, is that correct? That's what I understood.
No, door-to-door transportation was not BTC, that was Oswego, so not.
This is for Oswego?
No, this is previously. Now it's when Catholic Charities has been expanding their ability to do this type of stuff.
So we're taking it away from OCO.
OCO has nothing to do with it.
Well, but
They proposed,
it went out to bid.
it went out to bid and they submitted a proposal, but they have not done our child welfare transports, no.
Who does now? Right now, who do we have a contract with right now? That's what I'm asking.
Catholic Charities.
Same organization.
We're expanding that contract for them to do the dispatch on that, which BTC used to do, and to take over the volunteers that have been recruited to be able to continue to use that as a very cost-efficient way to deliver people door to door for mandated, as well as court. There's new court programs in place for people with substance use disorders. You might think of it as a family treatment court where these folks need to be transported bi-weekly into court. There's just an increased demand for transportation. And right now, our caseworkers continue to have to do a lot of transports. We're trying to get them out of doing transports and into being caseworkers.
So I'm really confused because I was told that the reason we're going with Catholic Family Charities now, we're allowing the contract that we have with somebody right now goes until the end of the year. But we're allowing them to step out of the contract and we're going to pick up Catholic Family Charities. It's going to cost us a little bit more, but we're picking up more that they're going to be doing.
That's true.
Okay, so because they're not doing what they're supposed to be doing, we allow them out of the contract? That's my understanding of it?
Well, I mean, my understanding is that
We're not satisfied with the transportation they're doing, is that correct?
I think that we're going to be able to do a better job, and it's going to be better for children internally. That's my opinion. But that is not the resolution we're actually talking about.
You know, when you're switching the contract, and I understand that. But what I'm saying is, I did go to DSW, that's why I'm asking it now, and I did ask why we were changing. And I was told because they wanted to get out, and we want to get them out because.
But this is a different program. This is door-to-door transportation. It's a different program than the mandated transportation of children for needs with their families.
Sorry, because of all the confusion, there's no way that I can vote in favor of this.
You know, there are many funded programs. There is Heather, our new mobility manager, can provide you with a sheet. It's basically a two-page spreadsheet that designates each of the different programs that are doing transportation. So there's a lot of moving parts in this. It is extremely complicated, but they each serve a different segment of the population, and especially the ones that are mandated. We've got to make sure that we do this, or we're going to be in trouble with the court. These are mandated meetings.
My second issue, sir, is the fact that we sent it out for bid, and the evaluation rating, the people that supplied us with our most transportation only scored 65%. That's kind of concerning a little bit that we don't rate them up there yet. We give them about 95% of our transportation needs. Thank you very much. That's it.
Thank you. Any other discussion? All those in favor?
Aye.
Opposed?
Mr. Chairman, that's 22 in favor, 1 opposed, and 2 excused.
Thank you. Moving to resolution HS5 by legislator Rita.
Mr. Chairman, I offer the following resolution and urge its adoption.
Will the clerk please read the heading?
Resolution authorizing amending contract RFP number 19-HD-006, Senior Transportation Services.
This is another one of our many transportation services that we provide. Due to the closure of Cannibal Congregate Dining Site, the transportation is no longer needed to that site. The Office of the Aging is requesting the contract be amended to expand the Fulton Congregate Dining Center transportation to cover the Hannibal area. This expansion will allow Hannibal participants to access congregate dining and socialization services that previously were available in Hannibal. There's no additional cost. The amount allocated for transportation for the Hannibal location will be reallocated to the Fulton site, making the amendment budget neutral this year.
Any discussion? All those in favor?
Aye.
Opposed?
Mr. Chairman, that's 23 in favor, 0 opposed, and 2 excused.
Thank you. Economic Development Planning Committee, we have no resolutions for this month. Moving on to the Health Committee, legislator Trask and brought by legislator Sal, H.E. Moss.
Mr. Chairman, I offer this resolution and recommend its adoption.
Will the clerk please read the heading?
Resolution authorizing Health Department request to transfer senior typist position 418921901 from hospice to health administration.
Mr. Chairman, this comes to us due to the closure of the Oswego County Hospice and the need for management of bereavement cases, which are less than a handful and will be done for the end of the year, that the Health Department requests to move the last remaining hospice position, senior typist, to the Health Department administration.
Thank you. Any discussion? All those in favor?
Aye.
Opposed?
Mr. Chairman, that's 23 in favor, 0 opposed, and 2 excused.
Thank you. Moving to the Infrastructure Facilities and Technology Committee, the first resolution by legislator House will be IT1, as the rehabilitate our asphalt mix plant. This resolution will allow the county to completely update its asphalt plant, which is a critical asset for our own roadways and other municipality paving projects. With this comprehensive rehabilitation to the asphalt mix plant, it will garner future success and growth within the county. Legislator House.
Thanks for stealing my thunder. I recommend this resolution and urge its adoption.
Will the clerk please read the heading?
Resolution establishing capital project number 1123, mixed plant rehab.
Thank you. And I did say we're going to add if we need.
No, we did it all. That's good.
Sorry, Chief. Any other discussion? All those, legislator Hill.
Yeah, Mr. Chairman, the Oswego County's got a great reputation of taking care of their roads. We hear people that travel through here all the time, and they know exactly when they cross the county line. With that being said, we're also able to supply the surrounding townships with reasonably priced pavement compared to the rest of the competition out there that provides it. So I highly urge this. I know it has a lot of support here, but I think it's worth noting that what the county highway department, for the jobs they've done, with the equipment they've had up to this point.
Thank you. Any other discussion? All those in favor? Aye. Opposed?
Mr. Chairman, that's 23 in favor, 0 opposed, and 2 excused.
Thank you. Resolution IT2 by legislator House.
Recommend this resolution urge its adoption.
Will the clerk please read the heading?
Resolution authorizing the chairman to execute an agreement extension between the County of Oswego and the United Herkimer Solid Waste Authority.
Okay, so what this is recyclables and the solid waste. Mike, did you want to add anything to that?
Yeah, this is just for a recycling program. We don't source separate here in the county. We send everything to the Herkimer where they source separate, and then they sell the goods at the open market. Some months there's losses, some months there's gains. And depending on how the year goes, we make money and we lose money. That's it in a nutshell.
Thank you, Mike.
Thank you. Any other discussion? All those in favor?
Aye.
Opposed?
Mr. Chairman, that's 23 in favor, 0 opposed, and 2 excused.
Thank you. Resolution IT3 by legislator House.
Recommend this resolution and urge its adoption.
Will the clerk please read the heading?
Resolution authorizing a budgetary modification, Department of Solid Waste, Energy Recovery Facility Plant Expense.
I'm going to leave this to Mike again.
Our operating expenses at the earth due to inflation and supply chain issues have risen approximately 40%. So this will put money into the expense account and carry it through the rest of the year. In our budgetary process that we're going through now, we're going to try to take that into account for next year, so we don't have to do this.
Very good. Thank you, Mike.
Thank you. Any other discussion? Take a shot.
Does this concern the rehabilitation of the boiler as well?
This one is not.
Any other discussion? All those in favor?
Aye.
Opposed?
Mr. Chairman, that's 23 in favor, 0 opposed, and 2 excused.
Thank you. Resolution IT4 by legislator House.
Yes, sir. I recommend this resolution and urge its adoption.
Will the clerk please read the heading?
Resolution authorizing budgetary modification, Department of Solid Waste, Energy Recovery Facility Insurance Recovery for CP number 1122, Earth Boiler number 2.
This one does concern the boiler. This was for insurance monies paid to the county last December. We're just pulling it out of the general fund and putting it into this capital project. I have other claims in the insurance company. Once everything is cleared, then we'll put this money back into our unappropriated funds.
Very good. Thank you, Mike.
Nick, can I just state, Mr. Chairman, the county insurance only covers the boiler with business interruption loss due to the boiler, and that's one of the things that's being right now.
Thank you. Legislator Shaw.
I'm just concerned that we're getting returned river water. Is that halted from the plant next door that we sell the power to by Dow, I believe it is now?
Go ahead, Mike.
That contract is up at the end of this year, and the county administrator, the county attorney, and myself are starting to review that. We will get with the end user, make some modifications to that contract, and get them to stop that. We're going to try to put some financial burden on them if they continue to do it.
My question is for Rich. Wouldn't the contract essentially be open if they're returning non-demineralized water to a very expensive and complex boiler system that is essentially being trashed?
I don't know that they're returning river water. The issue is the quality and condensate in the return, and Mike and I have discussed that.
But I think to your point, we discussed the other day in committee, that's something we're very closely at.
And it's an expensive issue.
Very, very simple. Any other discussion? All those in favor?
Aye.
Opposed?
Mr. Chairman, that's 23 in favor, 0 opposed, and 2 excused.
Thank you. Resolution 19-5 by legislator House.
Yes, sir. I recommend this resolution and urge its adoption.
Will the clerk please read the heading?
Resolution authorizing budgetary modification, Department of Solid Waste, Bristol Hill landfill, auction proceeds to other equipment.
Yeah, we auctioned some equipment off this spring, and they just want to transfer that money into my other equipment line so I can purchase some other equipment.
Thank you. Any discussion? All those in favor?
Aye.
Opposed?
Mr. Chairman, that's 23 in favor, 0 opposed, and 2 excused.
Thank you. Resolution IT-6 by legislator House.
I recommend this resolution and urge its adoption.
Will the clerk please read the heading?
Resolution authorizing budgetary modification, Department of Solid Waste, Bristol Hill landfill, other equipment, purchase of old compactor.
That's more money, I'll leave you alone. This is the machine with spiky wheels that we use to compact the refuse that comes into the landfill. The current unit I have is a 1998 or 1999, literally held together with J.B. Wells. So this will allow me to continue the operation of the landfill in this piece of equipment. Thank you.
Thank you. Any other discussion? All those in favor?
Aye.
Opposed?
Mr. Chairman, that's 23 in favor, 0 opposed, and 2 excused.
Thank you. Finance and Personnel Committee, Resolution FP1 by legislator Mann.
Mr. Chairman, I offer this resolution and urge its adoption.
Will the clerk please read the heading?
Resolution authorizing budget modification and amending Resolution 114 of 2023 regarding payment of employee COVID and retention stipends.
Mr. Chairman, this is, and fellow legislators, this is a resolution that is allowing our county employees who worked during our COVID-19 time eligibility for the stipends that we previously gave to current employees.
Thank you. Any discussion? Legislator Castillo.
Mr. Chairman, fellow legislators, this has been coming for a while, and it wasn't something that just was real quick. There's a lot of people that worked on this, and I want to thank them all for doing that. The people that worked during that COVID, they deserved it. The people that worked on getting this done, they deserve the applause for this, because I'd like to thank them very much. Thank you.
Thank you. Any other discussion? All those in favor?
Aye.
Opposed?
Mr. Chairman, that's 22 in favor, 1 opposed, and 2 excused.
Mr. Chairman, I offer this resolution and urge its adoption.
Will the clerk please read the heading?
Resolution authorizing budget modification to increase capital project number 0822, contract management system.
This is a resolution increasing capital project, $14,550, so that they can, unappropriated fund balance to designate capital project so that they can finish.
Thank you. Any discussion? All those in favor?
Aye.
Opposed?
Mr. Chairman, that's 23 in favor, 0 opposed, and 2 excused.
Thank you. Resolution FP3 by legislator Mangum.
Mr. Chairman, I offer this resolution and urge its adoption.
Will the clerk please call the roll? Excuse me. Jumping ahead. Please.
Resolution of the Legislature of the County of Oswego increasing taxes on sales and uses of tangible personal property and of certain services on occupancy of hotels, rooms, and amusement charges pursuant to Article 29 of the tax law of the state of New York.
And I am going to refer this to county administrator for
Yes, this is, as you know, the county has statutory authority to impose a 3% sales tax. Several years ago, the state allowed counties to do an additional 1%, but we do have to renew that every couple of years through a home rule request. We didn't have to do it last time because of the state budget allowed I think a 3-year extension. What this does is allow the imposition for an additional 2 years. It means about $13.5 million in revenue to the county, another 1.5 in what we shared to the towns and villages. This does require state law enactment, and that was carried past the state legislature, and the governor signed the bill. Simply what this resolution does is invoke our own right to do it. Thank you. Other discussions? Legislator Markey?
Mr. Church, now this will help offset some of the monies that we're going to lose in the coming years.
As long as sales tax keeps going up as it has, it'll help offset some of the losses we are going to experience as a result of the most recent state budget.
Thank you.
Well, thank you. Any other?
This hotel tax,
This is not a hotel tax. This is a continuation of the existing special additional rate that imposes the 1% rate, so 8% for the state, for the county, and then there's distribution agreements with Seafold, with Oswego Health Harmless. Sales tax is collected on anything that is allowed to have it collected on, and hotels issue the occupancy tax, local law, and state legislation. You pay sales tax on the rental of hotel and other entities. So there's sales tax and occupancy tax on hotel rooms, but this covers everything that would have sales tax paid on.
I can't make the decision.
Any other discussion? Roll call vote, please.
Legislator Yurden.
Yes.
Herbert Yurden.
Yes.
Ed Gilson.
Yes.
Dave Holst.
Yes.
Roy Rehill.
Yes.
John Martino.
Yes.
Frank Bombardo.
Yes.
Paul House.
Yes.
James Weatherup.
Yes.
Mary Ellen Chesbro.
Yes.
Linda Lockwood.
Yes.
Richard Klein.
Affirmative.
Patrick Twist.
Yes.
Stephen Walpole and marked excuse Nathan Emmons.
Yes.
James Scanlon.
Yes.
Laura Nagano.
Yes.
Robert Wilmot.
Yes.
Marie Schad.
No.
Paul Conley.
Yes.
Noel Samuelson.
Yes.
James Parasik's been marked excused. Michael Soloway.
Yes.
Mark Greco.
Yes.
Frank Castilia.
No.
Mr. Chairman, that is 21 in favor, 2 opposed, and 2 excused.
Thank you. Legislator Markey, you have your hand up? Nope. All right, moving now to any unfinished business. Any miscellaneous business?
Mr. Chairman, I have a small report. Thank you. Good thing I'm not in the bigger. Okay. I just wanted to report that July 25th, I attended a ribbon cutting for a celebration of fiber expansion. We can thank Kinetic for that by Windstream for the announcement. Countywide high-speed broadband service has been a top priority for the legislature. It is one of the initiatives we targeted for American Rescue Plan Act funding. The announcement that Kinetic is expanding in Fulton area means better internet access and speed for residents. It will make it easy for people to work from home, run their businesses, access education, opportunities, consult with doctors, and much more. These improvements will enhance the quality of life and help Oswego County stay comprehensive, competitive in today's global community. Thank you.
I know there was a number of legislators that attended that ribbon cutting. I'd like to thank Legislator Lockwood for representing myself and my office. I was going to be out of town that day, so thank you. Moving now, Legislator House.
Yeah, I'd like to make a motion to go into executive session to discuss the ethanol.
Second.
Okay. I think we're all in agreement. We don't necessarily need to go in unless it's up to the legislative Steve. We can just go to the motion.
Be a motion, yeah.
Okay, so we'll skip executive session, we'll waive the rules, change the date of the September meetings, and then also we'll have that resolution for acts presented by the legislature. So, do you have a date, sir?
Yeah, so we got the motion to waive the rules to change the date of the September ledge meeting from September 11th at 2 o'clock.
Thank you. Any discussion? All those in favor?
Aye.
Opposed?
Mr. Chairman, that's 23 in favor, 0 opposed, and 2 excused.
Okay, now to also waive the rules, we need a motion to waive the rules for the resolution for.
So moved. So moved. Second.
Any discussion? All those in favor?
Aye.
Okay, now the resolution itself, this is going to authorize the chair of the legislature to execute a second amendment stipulation on certain terms with High Score Capital LLC regarding the Addis Ethanol Fulton LLC tax delinquent parcels. Are we all comfortable with what we're voting on? Any other discussion? Okay. Paul, will the clerk please read the heading of what I just did?
Resolution authorizing the chair of the legislature to execute a second amended stipulation on certain terms with High Score Capital LLC regarding Addis Ethanol Fulton LLC tax delinquent parcels.
Is that much clearer? Any discussion? All those in favor?
Aye.
Opposed?
Mr. Chairman, that's 23 in favor, 0 opposed, and 2 excused.
At this point, nothing else, we'll look for the appropriate motion.
Motion to adjourn.
Second.
Now, going for the public comment period, Legislator House. Okay, this time, these are comments that are unrelated to the resolution of the day. Public speakers, if you can come forward, we'll start with Chris Weisenberger. Thank you. Podium is yours, you have 5 minutes.
Thank you for remaining for public comments. I live in northern Oswego County, and I read about the Monzi lawsuit in the paper. This dispute is about delinquent tax properties in Richland, Legislative District 3, and Sandy Creek Legislative District 1. Since this transaction occurred in my backyard, I was interested in understanding the process. I tried to obtain information about the county process via a FOIL, but the response added to my confusion about understanding how a person's tax delinquent properties go to the auction block. I was troubled because the newspaper report about this indicated that our 2 county legislators, local legislators, also seemed to be confused about the process for handling delinquent taxes. How will this be better handled in the future? Is there helpful information that can be made available to the public and our legislators? The county website does not provide information on how the public should handle this. I ask you to clarify the process for handling delinquent property. Thank you.
Now would Patty Family.
afternoon. Let me know if you can't hear me. Today I want to respond to comments made by several county leaders in the August 4th edition of the Cal Times. The heading of the article was, "What They're Saying Locally About Trump's Latest Indictment." Those indictments include a count of conspiring to defraud the government, conspiring to disenfranchise voters, and 2 counts related to obstructing a congressional proceeding. Legislative Chairman Weatherup and Republican County Committee spokesperson Terry Wilbur did not speak to those specific charges in the indictments, but instead both felt that the charges were political, and both felt that the Biden family should be indicted, but had not been. Legislator Weatherup said, "It's above my pay grade, but it's kind of disturbing how one family seems to get indicted all the time and the other doesn't. No specifics about what these indictments should be against the Bidens or what evidence they felt was being ignored." So to me, these types of comments, which are, by the way, also echoed by our state assemblyman Will Barkley and our Congresswoman Tenney and Congresswoman Stefanik, they are disturbing to me, and I think they should be disturbing to you. I don't think this matter is above Legislator Weatherup's pay grade or anyone else's in this room. On the contrary, I think these comments are intentionally inflammatory and they're not truthful. In truth, Hunter Biden has been indicted, and that case is still in progress. There are some notable differences, however, in the way President Biden and his son have handled themselves in the way Trump and his family have handled their situation. For instance, I have not heard any of the Bidens threaten judges or witnesses or fail to cooperate with protocols that protect sensitive national security information and provide for the safety of witnesses involved in the cases. Hunter Biden is not a White House staffer. I seem to recall that Ivanka Trump and her husband, Jared Kushner, did hold high-level White House positions. To be fair, I want to also take exception to Legislator Castillo's remarks in the same article. He felt Trump was guilty, but that it was a waste of money to pursue the evidence and the charges against him. I strongly disagree. This is the most important case in the world right now, in real time. And the evidence should be presented, heard, and ruled upon in court. One of the main reasons to pursue both of these cases, Hunter Biden and former President Trump, is to try and restore our public trust in our democratic institutions and to reassert the U.S. standing in the global economy, where the World Bank has downgraded our ratings due to political instability in our country. For Republican leaders to write off the overwhelming evidence and resulting charges against former President Trump as a petty political game is very dangerous, and it has contributed to the rise in domestic terrorism, the destabilization of our democracy, and the safety of all of us. I call upon you all in this legislative body to stand up for equal justice under the law and to denounce all violence, including violence committed in the name of Donald Trump. The intimidation by Trump of election workers, judges, witnesses, other people who are merely doing their jobs is on every person who doesn't condemn it. It is on all of you as elected officials to set an example that supports equal justice under the law. Not applying laws equally to a former president, particularly one who commits these crimes in plain sight. I've watched him on television, and he often admits to them as well, will destroy the rule of law in this country. Do I have to worry that if I'm arrested in Oswego County, that I would be treated differently under the law than a legislator who's arrested? When I retired from county employment, I thought I would happily bring my grandchildren to a library where books were not banned. I would bring them to school where there was not a threat of a mass shooting. I had presumed that my daughter and my granddaughter would have the same reproductive freedom that I enjoyed. Instead, this is where we are, and I want to move past it. And Chairman Leatherup, you could have dialed back the rhetoric, and I hope that you will in the future, because that is not helping us to move past it.
Thank you, you're over your time.
Oh, I'm so sorry.
I'm not going to get combative, but in our country, equal justice that you spoke to is innocent until proven guilty.
And I
Thank you.
believe that, but that does not mean that you say, what about Biden and what about Pamela?
Until proven guilty.
So you don't convince Biden.